customary, we will start with the Pledge of Allegiance, but we are honored to have Troop 56 here with us today, and they will be doing the flag for us. Troop 56. Maybe they've practiced enough that they're ready to start. Again, we can grab Troop 56. Yeah. Thanks for coming and getting the flag, Troop 56. All right, Boy Scouts of Troop 56, you can't walk away yet. We're going to have you come up to the podium, introduce yourself, and tell us a little bit about why you're here, what you're doing, what you like about Scouts. So come up to the podium right here, yeah.
We are Troop 56 of the Wasatch Ward, and we're here working on our citizenship in the community.
And your name once more?
My name is Kai.
Okay, Ty.
Hi, I'm Andrew Winters, and I'm also working on my merit badge of citizenship in the community. Thank you.
I'm Ethan Hathaway. I am also working on the merit badge for citizenship in the community and Troop 56.
Well, thank you for coming and doing the flag ceremony for us, and especially your leaders. I know it takes a lot of time out of your family and your personal lives to do this, and what you're doing for these young men is great. So we appreciate that. All right, Council, we are going to move forward and hopefully get approved the minutes. I'll be looking for a motion on that.
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the minutes from the dates as outlined in the agenda. Do you want me to read those?
Do we need to read those in here? Are we okay with? Okay, its motion's been made by Councilmember Adams and seconded by Councilmember Penfold to approve the minutes as outlined in the agenda. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
That motion carries. I'll be looking for a motion to convene at, well, recess is the...
Mr. Chair.
You love to do it.
I love to do these things. Mr. Chair, I move that we recess as the City Council and reconvene as the Building Authority Board of Directors.
Second.
There's been a motion made by Councilmember Penfold, seconded by Councilmember Mendenhall. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We need to look for approval of the minutes as local building authority as outlined in your agenda.
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the minutes as outlined in the agenda.
Second.
It's been moved by Councilmember Penfold and seconded by Councilmember Luke. All those in favor?
Aye.
Now, as the Board of Directors of the Local Building Authority, we'll be having a public comment to consider the following items, which is a resolution for Local Building Authority for a budget amendment number 1 for forward year 2015 and 16 for Fire Station number 14. When people come to make comments to the City Council, we want this to be a room of openness. People feel comfortable to come and approach and to share their feelings and their beliefs in what they see that we're moving forward with. So we expect everyone to respect those who are presenting or speaking. No jeering, cheering, clapping, no signs raised above your head. We just want everyone to feel comfortable to come and approach us and be able to speak for the time allotted. Is there anyone that would like to present or speak at this time? Any cards? Okay.
Mr. Chair, I move that we recess as the local building authority and reconvene as the city council. Oh, but first, I move that we close the public hearing.
A motion's been made by Councilmember Mendenhall and seconded by Councilmember Luke to close the public hearing.
And then I would move that we recess as the local building authority and reconvene as the city council.
Okay, and it's been made, a motion's been made by Councilmember Mendenhall and seconded by Councilmember Luke to recess as local building authority and reconvene as the Salt Lake City Council. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Moving on to the public hearings.
Mr. Chair, could I just get a clarification? Do we need to take two votes? We had two individual motions there, and we sort of considered them as one, but I just thought this would be a good time to pause. And
I think it was pretty clear that your intention was to both close the public hearing, recess as the LBA, and then reconvene as the council. Is that correct?
if that was clear for you, then that's all I care about.
Well, I care about it for the recorder's sake, but I think they've got it. Thank you for checking.
We're moving on to the public hearings for the grant application submissions listed below 1 through 7. I think that we're okay to move forward in looking at all of them at once and hearing comments about that, if everyone's okay with that. So like I said, the rules of decorum still apply here. Please feel comfortable to come up and be able to speak on any of these grant submissions. Is there anyone that would like to speak to any of these grant submissions? And this is not just comments to the City Council at this time. This is just for the grant submissions.
Mr. Chair, I move that we close each of these public hearings and defer action to a later date.
Second.
It's been moved by Councilmember Luke and seconded by Councilmember Penfold to defer these actions to a later date. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. We're on to item D. Comments. Questions to the mayor from the City Council. Mayor Biskupski isn't here, but we have her Chief of Staff, Patrick O'Leary, here. Does anyone have any questions for Patrick? Charlie?
I don't have a question, but I have a comment. I'd like to welcome Patrick to his new role as Mayor's Chief of Staff, and also congratulate Mayor Biskupski again on her election, and say that I look forward to working with you, and believe the council does as well. So, welcome.
He stole what we were all going to say, so there you go.
Well, welcome to your first meeting. This is exciting, right?
I do think we need a tougher question or comment than that, but maybe next week.
You'll be ready for that, right? We'll be ready. Okay. We're moving on to item number 2 under Section D, comments to the City Council. The first name I have is Douglas Cotant, and if Senator Karen Main would be ready after Douglas Cotant.
Are we still on the 2-minute limit?
Yes.
Can we extend to 3 minutes?
We've got 2 minutes set for you.
Okay. Yeah. Why is Ms. Biskupski not here?
She had a family matter she needed to attend to today.
All right. Okay. Well, anyway, I was at the formal ceremonies yesterday, and the ceremony should have been held inside because it was very cold outside. And so anyway, I just wanted to say congratulations to the new City Council people, Derek Kitchens and who else?
Andrew Johnston.
Andrew Johnston. And well, that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
May I?
Thank you very much. I won't read my letter to you. I've already been to the Salt Lake Council, and I'm on my way to go to West Valley and any other council that will listen to me. I've written this letter in hopes that UTA will respond to it. A few weeks ago, they made a declaration that they were going to revamp their bus system to make it more friendly to us. And as you read through the letter that I have written to them, I'm going to go to their meeting the end of the month. And the Salt Lake County commissioners, council people have signed on to this, and my colleagues in the Senate and the House have signed on to this. What it does is encourage UTA to put buses in the residential areas. That's where they're needed. They're in the arteries, and that's fine. Tracks is great, all that is sexy, and that's wonderful. But we need buses going into the residential areas. Those that need to go to work, especially the low-income people, they need mass transit. They need those buses. So I'm asking if you will read the letter, and if you feel that you can sign on to this, I hope you do, because I think we need, as leaders, to go to them and say, yes, the express buses work, all the mass transit works, the tracks works, but we need you in those residential communities, because people need transit to go to work. They need those buses. We can have all these depots, but somebody's got to get them there. That bus has to drop them there. And so, and another thing, I'll be short, is to make sure that when they put those routes in place, that they stay there. Because where in my community, I have had people plan their work schedule around those buses, and then they call me on the phone and say, Senator, it's not paying for itself, we're going to take it away. Mass transit will never pay for itself. Libraries will never pay for themselves. Those things that we come together as a community, we lovingly support so that we can make it all happen. So I appreciate your time, and I hope that you can join me when I talk to UT about this issue, because my colleagues tell me in the Senate you have the same issue that we do out on the west side. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Maine. Amir Cornell, I'm sorry, I can't read your last name. Maybe if you could come and give it to me. Oh, great, I did do it right. Following Amir, the last card I have is Charlotte Mates.
First of all, welcome the 3 new member City Council. I hope you survive in next 4 years. I pray for you. Number 2, Mr. Patrick, I know the mayor couldn't make it, but I was hoping I could direct talk to her, but if you could give me a call tomorrow morning, and we really appreciate. I have some concern about building enforcement. Now to our wonderful City Council. All the cities in the state of Utah, their ordinance doesn't go more than 10 years, and they don't enforce it. 50% of these cities, there are 10 years younger or young cities. Some of these ordinances are so old or too old, they said by the time they wrote these ordinance, population of the Salt Lake City was 150 to 100,000. Right now the population is over 500,000 in Salt Lake City. Read my lips, some of these ordinance doesn't work with today. Unfortunately, city enforcement come in and wants to enforce it. My request from you is, if you are passing any ordinance, please put a time limit on it for 10 years. And after 10 years, if you decided to extend it, just have another hearing and extend it. And that's all I'm asking you. I live on the south side of the 2700. 1.5 blocks from me, they just create another city. They call it Mill Creek City. And the Mill Creek City right now, they are passing the petition, wants to get annexed with the Salt Lake County. And we don't want that. We want to be a part of Salt Lake City. We love Salt Lake City if the Salt Lake City treat us right. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Coates.
Thank you for your comments, and thank you to the City Council for all of your diligent and hard work on behalf of all of the citizens of Salt Lake City. And welcome to City Hall, and continuing welcome to City Hall. I appreciate the fact that you all represent all of the citizens of Salt Lake. I happen to be an advocate for the homeless. I worked for Travelers Aid, Salt Lake Shelter and Resource Center. Back in 1988, I began 10 days after they, not even 10, probably 3 days after they opened the shelter. I was at what was a cocktail party, and Suzanne Goldsmith said, "Who can get the washers and dryers for the homeless? We've opened the shelter, the laundry stacked to the ceilings, and we need to get the laundry facilities." On the back of her program, they were honoring Carolyn Schuback at the time. On the back of her program was Nick Rose's name. He was the president of Mountain Fuel Supply. I said, call Nick Rose. Who knows him well enough? I do. Next order of business, who can we get to run the shelter? Patrick Pullen needs to go on a well-deserved vacation. 18 months of 18-hour days was catching up, and he needed to go on a family trip out of state. I was 2 weeks from my unemployment running out after having a corporate career at Hercules. I had 2 children. I was a single mother, and I was 2 weeks away from finishing college. I rose my hand, and the first Christmas in the shelter, that newborn baby, and they ended up having no heat on Christmas night. Called me at 10 o'clock at night, went down, got the heat back on through the heating contractor. That's history. What I'm asking you to do is please read the article that was in the Salt Lake Tribune on Monday, January 4th, Time for a New Mayor to Face Homelessness in Salt Lake City, written by Tim Funk. Crossroads Urban Center's done an excellent job. And I'll leave this with your clerk to make copies and distribute it to all of the council members.
Thank you, Charlotte.
Thank you.
That's all the cards that I have for this evening. Is there anyone else who would like to speak to the City Council? Seeing none, moving on to new business. The council needs to consider the following items: a motion to elect of chair and vice chair. I don't think it would be appropriate for Stan to make a motion, so we'll look for somebody else.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion that we elect tonight new chair and vice chair. James Rogers is the chair. Stan Penfold is the vice chair.
I think that we need
Do
to
we have to do them
suspend the
independently?
rules. Yeah, suspend the rules and adopt.
That I move that we suspend the rules and adopt.
Motion made by Councilmember Adams and second by Councilmember Mendenhall. Does anyone want to speak on that before we vote on it? Okay. Seeing none. All those in favor?
Aye. Aye.
That carries unanimously. And just a moment of personal privilege, I just am looking forward to this next year. I think it's going to be an exciting year for all of us to move forward in Salt Lake City and continue on the progression that Salt Lake City sets the standard for the state of Utah. And this is just one more year that we get to carry that torch. So thank you. That concludes our meeting for tonight. Get ready. Close your ears. Meeting's adjourned.
That's why we elected him. We're done.